Welcome everybody, it's Elves here. We are on part 2 of my series for the Heroes tier list of 2022. We are now on to the epic heroes, those purpley goodness heroes. Now in total, there are 11 of these ones, compared to the puny rares where there was only 5 of them in the previous video. Go check that out if you haven't already seen that one. We are going to review now all 11 of these heroes within the epic genre. We're not comparing these against legendaries. We're not comparing these against the rares. We're just comparing them amongst their peers, because ultimately it's a bit unfair, I'd say, to be comparing these guys and their benefits within that area, because once you get into legendaries, 95% of the time the legendary is better than the rare and the epic. So there are only certain circumstances otherwise that you would pick out a rare versus a legendary. So I think this way you're getting a better assessment of those units, especially if you're starting up with the game as well, and you're getting a lot more of the rares and the epics in your game before you start then getting your legendaries, which do take a long time to get. Because one thing that I have certainly pointed out in many of my previous videos is this game is a marathon, not a race. It's a marathon. There's no need to rush to get your heroes straight up as quick as you can, because if you do that, it's going to cost you, because it's really going to cost you a lot of gems. It's really going to cost you a lot of medals, a lot of probably money as well if you really go down that route. Now, so we're going to jump into it, and we're going to jump in with a really, really nice hero. Now, I'm going to always place them in C to start with, because it's just in the middle there. So, the first hero we've got is Ains. Now, this one, the Dark Lord himself. Now, he is one of the Dark heroes, which, without a doubt, I would say, if you're looking to get your Dark unit, your Dark troops, up to level 10, you want to get a Dark hero. Now, the choices you have, you've got Ains, Cassandra, you've got Kelvin. Those are the guys within the epic section, and then when you go into legendaries, I think you got about 2 or 3 other ones. 2, 3, yeah, I think it's 3, which is Charon, Mephisto, and the elusive nobody gets other than the high tier players, Azrael, which we will talk about, but the knowledge on Azrael, I will be honest, is very minimal, because he's so elusive. Now, Ains, bearing that in mind, already pushes him up, and I honestly think I'd put him up to a B just based on that, because Ains, I would say you have a much better chance of getting him leveled up quickly, so when you're ready then to get your Dark hero, because you got to get each hero group, you've got to get them to 15 to be able to have a level up into level 10 for those troops. So Ains, I think 9 times out of 10 is the one you're going to get up to that high level the fastest, realistically. Kelvin's sometimes, because he does come out every now and again, but I'd be very unlucky with not getting Kelvin, who is this horse knight guy here, which looks fucking badass. He was actually my main hero when I started playing, because I kept getting good cards early on, and I kept getting him, and he became my main hero for a while, and then switched out once I started getting other heroes up. Now, I would say Ains' abilities here, now he's got 2 abilities. So same again, it's limited like the rares. You're not benefiting like the 4s, which you'll see with the legendaries. The first one he's got is Ains summons his own reflection to join the battle, and it takes on a set percentage of Ains' attributes. Okay, now this is a hidden percentage. This isn't even said. So basically what it does, he clones himself. So that means he is out there, and a duplicate is out there as well, which means they can separate up, they can cause a bit of disruption amongst themselves. You're looking, he's got decent health, he's not like super weak. Overall, he's quite a good lad. He's quite a good lad. Then we've got another ability from him, which is called Sunder, which is passive. Ains gets a chance to deal bonus damage on each attack. Now, can you imagine? You've got two of these guys, and then they got the passive skill going, which does that chance to deal bonus damage. Now, he's got a critical rate, once he's at his highest level, is 55%. So, basically, every 1 in 2 hits, he will do the crit. His crit damage rate, which at max level, is 450%. So I think, like, I can only really go on what I got. I got a level 7 Ains, and he does 600 damage. Now, if he's critting, and then he's doing, I think he's 275% of that. So what's that? 100% would be obviously another 600. Another 600, so 1,200, 1,800 in total, plus 75. You're looking at what? Nearly about 2,000 something, 2,000 damage, and that's just on one hit. That's pretty good. Now, Ains, I'd say within this area, which is obviously the epic area, I honestly think he's a good hero to have. I'm here at the moment because he's the only hero that we've pulled out so far. He's B here at the moment. B to A. I'm teetering on top end B for now. All right. So our next hero is Cassandra. Cassandra. Now, one thing you need to know about Cassandra. She affects your cards within. I got chat already going. I've already got chat going. No, destroy her. Don't let her become powerful. She actually affects one of the game modes in the game. Okay, she affects Temple of Fusion. Okay, and you may think, oh, okay, well, leveling her up. Yes, leveling her up will affect that. Okay, which is a bad thing because by leveling her up all the way, you're increasing the chance for those cards to flip out of the fusion area. Now, without going into greater detail, please obviously join the clan. You will learn a lot about the fusions. The main rule is Cassandra equals bad. People going, no, I want to get rid of her. Now, I was lucky enough that someone either on Reddit or within the clan that I'm in, which is the Hunters, go check them out, Discord in the description somewhere, they said, stop it, don't, stop leveling her up. I got to level 4 and I regret it already, and it's only level 4. I wish someone told me at level 1, but I'm lucky enough that she's level 4 and she doesn't affect it too badly for me. If you've gone past 4 and you're going up into like 5, 10, and worst of all, you're going up into 5, you're gonna get affected quite a bit when it comes to the fusions, okay? And there's a big trick with that. Now, Cassandra, she has 2 abilities. One's an active one, throws many tarot cards around herself, stunning and damaging opponents. Max damage 2,000, and that's at her highest level, which you'd never do because that would be silly. Then you got her Minor Arcana, which is a passive skill. In a normal attack, Cassandra throws out one of either the red, yellow, or blue tarot cards, causing damage and different effects. Red does range, which is an area damage. Yellow does a stun, and blue does a cooldown reduction. Now, she won't survive long enough for her to even throw the 3 freaking cards. Let's just say that. She does an area damage, a stun, and a cooldown reduction, which all 3 of them are pretty pathetic. Cassandra, without a doubt, you are effing chat. Oh, go away, Cassandra. D-level. Can we D-level? Please, get rid of her. I'm waiting for them to be able to do rares in the what's it? I always remember in the trading hall. That's it, trading hall. I'm just waiting for them to throw the rares in. So not rares, the epics, so we could get rid of her. Nobody would buy her. I'll pay you to take her off my hands. Oh man. Alright, next on the cards is Moshi. I hope it's Moshi. Oh my god. Okay, so now then, Moshi. Now Moshi, I have much love for him because he is actually probably one of the higher levels that I have in the Epic group, mainly because of the events we've been doing, like the summer event, which you get a lot with the search. So, by the way, guys, don't forget, collect those scrolls, collect them ready. Moshi comes up quite a bit in wheels. He's a good byproduct of a good legendary, to be fair. Now, Moshi has 2 abilities. One of them, which is quite cool, is main effect, which is a meteor shower. Very cool attack. Moshi performs the miracle of the shooting stars, dealing massive amounts of damage to targeted enemies. Number of units affected. Now, this is probably, like, compared to the rest of the enemies, which does lasting damage and things like that, this is how many units will get affected by this meteor shower. This is massive. If he's at top level, he will hit 46 units with that meteor shower. The cooldown is 15 seconds. I've seen sometimes in fights that Moshi can survive 2 rounds, so he can launch the meteor shower twice, but it all depends on the troops that you have around with him. But 2 meteor showers and you're hitting those damages to 46 units. That's fucking cool. The damage he does, so if he's at max level, 3,000 damage. So 3,000 damage to 46 units. I'll just let that sink in. 3,000 damage times 46 troops. That's big numbers across the board. Now, Moshi, very handy within Hero Trial. I would even say that he's a good unit if you've got him leveled up a few levels early on in the game and you manage to get him as an epic. He's not a bad unit. For me, I think Moshi, with the benefit that he has in like Hero Trial, the upgraded damage that he has, and the number of units he can affect, I say he's in and around the B's and the C's at the moment. Now, his passive skill, which is Devotion Aura, Moshi spreads his strong will, greatly increasing friendly troops' health and defense. Now, this is where I feel he does push that little bit higher. His health increase can go up to a maximum of 25%. Now, that's a quarter. That's a decent amount to increase health. And then defense increase is 20%. That's a decent amount as well. I would actually put Moshi in B grade. I think he's a very formidable epic hero. He is within the sacred section, and as you know, there's a lot of good sacred troops that you want to get in. He is a good hero to try and get up to the high level 15 plus, and he will benefit you getting those level 10 troops under the sacred banner. So Moshi, B. Well done, you know. Next one. Now, as you can see, we've had 3 darks so far. We've had Ains, Cassandra. Now we have Kelvins. Now, Kelvins I've got a soft spot for because I started off with Kelvins, and I got him up to probably like level 4 or 5 really quite quickly. I kept getting him from the chests early on, and yeah, I don't know how lucky I got. It was crazy. Now, Kelvin's, he does have quite a lot. He's quite a defensive hero. He's got quite a bit of health. He does okay damage. Now, he's got an active skill which Kelvin casts energy shields, which protect some friendly troops. The shields absorb several hits before being destroyed, and then burst and deal damage to nearby enemies. Okay, now that's quite a cool feature. Number of units affected. So Sim, again, like Moshi, has got that affects units quantity. This one's a bit less. This one's only 32 units. Now 32 units being affected, and these are your units, obviously. Now, if you can get shields around like your front-facing melee, then ultimately you've got, like, just think of it as an undead soldier. He's got 2 lives. Can you imagine he's got armor around him as well that keeps him alive even longer? You know, it's all about things like that. Now, he also does have a resistance duration, which maxes out at 6. And then his damage is 450. So this spreads out to all those units, those 32 troops that you have, that when it hits through the shield and destroys, it does 450 damage to the enemy. So 450 times 32 units that have been affected. You know, it's a considerable amount. Now, he is a defensive hero across the board, I'd say. And some formations really do benefit from the from that defensiveness, rather than a very aggressive route. So if you think of things like heroes like brawlers, pilgrims, and things like that, the ones that are up there with the defensiveness, but you want to protect like your other melee units or even your archers, you know, having those units there. Now, rapid cooling is his other ability, which is a passive skill. The cold breath of Kelvin can increase the movement speed and attack speed of all friendly troops and decrease the enemy's attack speed. Now this, combined with what we just discussed, is very, very beneficial to this hero and the formation you have with them. Attack speed is maxed at 15%. Movement speed, the biggest we've seen, 75% movement speed. So if you've got Kelvin, you could be running fast. You could be the Usain Bolt of Art of War. Can you imagine a stone golem speeding across the screen, all because of Kelvin? And then we've got the attack speed reduction. Now this goes purely onto the enemy, which is a 15% attack speed reduction, which isn't massive, but every little helps. Now for me, Kelvin, he's a very good hero starting off, I'd say. He got me through several thousand level ups, without a doubt. Without a doubt, put him, he is middle of the ground. If you're not super keen on the defensiveness, he is a very good C grade. He's in that middle. That's where I put Kelvin's for this epic route. Now, next one. It's me. It's me. It's Chris. Now, it's our second sacred. So Chris is sacred. He is the most festive Santa giant I've ever seen in my life. I never thought a game would actually introduce seasonal themed heroes and keep them going. It's the same as like the seasonal themed troops, like pumpkin guards. You know, pumpkin, Halloween. I'm just waiting for, I don't know, the Easter Bunny. When they're gonna add the Easter Bunny? Come on. Let's upvote it. Easter Bunny for the next event. The hero. What a glorious hero he would be. He would crap out. No, let's not go down that route. Okay, so we've got Chris. He is a giant. He is, as you presume, he has a lot of health. He has a lot of damage too. He's literally bonking you with a Christmas tree. Now, he has got an active skill where he uses the power of the earth to repel and deal damage to enemies at the front. So a frontal attack. Damage goes up to a massive 9,000. Now, if we remember what we discussed in the previous video about the rares and what they did, like max damage of about 4,000, Chris can do up to 9,000 damage on this, a one-off damage of boof. There we go. But it is a frontal attack, so any units coming behind you, he ain't gonna be doing it until he turns around. Now the next one, which is a passive skill, he does gifts for everyone. The warmth of Chris's gifts will boost the healing effects of all troops. Now the healing increase goes up to a maximum of 50%. Now once he gets up to high level, realistically 50%, the jump from one level to the final level is 26% jump, from 24% to 50%. It's huge jump. Chris, he can be very good within within the hero trial, just like life is. So Chris himself, I think he's quite a tanky sacred unit, but I don't think he's quite as good as if you're comparing them to some of the heroes we've currently got in C's and B's at the moment. So Chris, I think I'm putting you in D, but high D. He's a high D, you're not a low D. He ain't going towards Cassandra right now, don't you worry. Now then, next one on the list, which was my personal favourite, and if anybody sees me in game or sees me in the clan, etc., this is my avatar. That's the picture I've got. Even though I use another hero, I love archers. I love bowmen. I love rangers. I love elves. It's the go-to style of attack that I go in all games. Robin Hood. What can I say about Robin Hood? He is the first human we've come across so far. Robin Hood is literally probably my highest epic at the moment, because I've got so many from the flips. Now, he's got an okay amount of health. He is, as you know, a ranger. He's a support, so he does sit in the back most of the time. He does have two abilities. Arrow of Wind, which Robin Hood charges his bow with a single powerful shot, which deals damage all along its path. Now, you can imagine if he shoots straight ahead and there's enemies all in a row, they're going to take a huge amount of damage. Now, this is spread through each unit. The max he can do is 4,500, but that goes to every unit it's passing through, and it only has a cooldown of 10 seconds, which is actually quite low compared to quite a lot of them, which are at 15. His secondary ability, which is called Sharp Style, which is Robin Hood and his troops get a higher chance of evading enemy attacks. Now, this is a non-stat based one. It doesn't tell you, it just says higher chance, doesn't give you the chance details, so it's in the background. Evading is one of those big things at the moment, because they've introduced a new troop into the game called an Angel. Evading is really something that's being tested at the moment, especially in the arena and formations. It's something to really keep your eye on. Now, Robin Hood does apply this evade option. Now, for me, he was fun for a little bit, but he really does lackluster once units start focusing on him or do get close to him. He does not survive long enough to basically get that to get that maybe third shot off. He could probably get 2 off during a round. He is handy within Hero Trial. I do find him quite useful in that area until you start getting your higher level legendaries out. So at the moment, I would probably put him in here, and I'd probably they're kind of equal at the moment, so I think he is quite happily sitting there next to Chris. So that is Robin Hood. Now then, next one, we have got Miller. Miller, Wolfie boy. I'm trying to... There we go. Miller. Now, Miller is the first wild that we have. And there's a lot of good units within the wild area, especially if you're looking at goblin techs. You're looking at the stone golem. You're going to need a wild character. Now, Miller, you could probably level him up quite easily. He does come in as a secondary option on many wheels. He does also have only 2 attack styles. One of the things he does, which is very good, Miller is only an epic, but he can compete against some of the legendaries out there. Miller himself can take on Ali and stop her activating her epic attack. Her attack that basically decimates any army. Now, Miller goes straight for the jugular and goes for her. Now, this alone puts him already up in B tier for me, because to be able to for a epic to compete against a legendary, that's without a doubt a push-up. Now, Miller doesn't have as much health as some of the other guys, but he's got this skill called Infinite Duress, which Miller raids to an enemy, I guess rushes rather than raids, deals much damage and suppresses, which obviously stuns them, the target for a few seconds. This skill prefers to target enemy heroes. Okay, this is the only unit that does this, where it literally just goes for the hero. Now that versus someone like Ali, who's trying to cast off her spells, is without a doubt your best counter to have a Miller in your group. Now, he does an attack reduction of up to 20%, a defense reduction of up to 20%. He does damage of 5,000, but does have that cooldown of 15. So it's unlikely if he can't survive, if troops are swarming around him once he's gone for the hero, he may not survive to do a second chance. But if he gets off to Ali as soon as possible, that can really make a difference. Now, he's got a passive skill called Eternal Hunger. Miller can steal life from enemies when attacking, and his basic attack can sometimes cause ranged damage. So, his damage, 2,250, which is on top of that first one that he did, which is the 5,000. So, basically nearly just over 7,000. His lifesteal at max level is only 19%. Now, if that was a considerable amount for, especially being an epic, you would see a lot more people probably use Miller. If he had that, maybe 40 to 50% lifesteal, kind of like how Dracula might be, sucking the life out of people, Miller would probably be up there a bit more. Now, for me, I think Miller sitting in the B. I will probably give Miller the edge over Moshi. And he's kind of because it's only really one person, legendary wise, that you would go for, like Ali, maybe even Xion, maybe even the newer ones, like Freya. Miller, I think Miller is up there. Yeah, Miller, going for the hero makes a big difference, because he really puts a player on edge when it comes to considering attacking a Miller defense, maybe, especially if you're someone like Ali, which is one of the most used legendary hero, which we will come to in another video. Go check that out. Now, next one. Let's get him in. There he is. Now, Genichiro, or Genichiro, Cheerios, I don't know. Now, I don't know a great deal about this hero, to be honest. This hero is elusive to get, quite hard, quite tricky to get. He doesn't often come as a secondary hero. He doesn't roll out of like chests so easily. He's quite a hard one to get hold of. So on that basis alone, I'm already putting him down into D. I'll probably put him up to D, high D at the moment to start with. And this is just because of obtainability, which is a big factor for all these heroes when you're going through the game. Now, I've literally got him level 1. That's how often I get him. I've got 1 card on him, and I've been playing for 9 months. That's how often I get him. Now, obviously, if you're a paid player, you may get him a lot more because you'll probably get him in the arena, but he's a lot harder to get hold of. Now, his first ability, which is why is his name changed? What? His name's changed in this one. Genichirio, with a U at the end. Slashes through enemies in a specific area, dealing lots of damage and slowing the attack speed of enemies. So while he's attacking them, he could do an attack speed of up to a maximum of 25%. So this is like high-end. High-end damage, 4,000. Now, let me give you... Obviously, everybody, you guys have watched the rare video. Of course you have. If you haven't, go check that out. At max level, he does 4,000 damage, which is disappointing considering he's classed as an epic, where you got rares that are doing 4,000 at max, and they're not as good. So he does have a passive skill, which he rushes forward in an attack and can both deal area damage and cause enemy bleeding. Now, this is an effect that's quite cool. He can do a damage of 1,200, and then he does a burning damage of up to 480, which has a lasting damage count of 5 and damage intervals of every 1 second. So considering all that, he's a dark hero as well. You're unlikely to get this guy to 15 before you'd get Ains or Kelvin or even Cassandra, but do not do Cassandra. Honestly, he's a bit of a disappointment for me. From what I've seen of him, and it's very little I've seen him, I do not see him a lot in Arena. I don't even see him in Hero Trial, and when I do come across him, I overwhelm him very quickly with my army and my hero that I use, which is Sion. Can never say that name. Now, honestly, I think he'd probably sit in the D, and because of his rarity, I'm even putting him low D, because his rarity, his damage only being able to a max of 4,000. These are big negatives. Big negatives for me. Okay, so the next one, we've got the Beardy Pirate, which you end up seeing quite a bit. The glorious Beardy Pirate of Blackbeard Edward. He is a drunk, but we love him. We love the Piratey Boy. Now, Piratey Boy, he's got something called Queen Anne's Revenge. Blackbeard forces his men to drink spirits, and the alcohol increases the troops' attack and movement speed for a short period. Now, number of heroes affected, 35. So 35 of your units, and this is obviously max level. His attack speed is increased at a max of 35%, and his movement speed is 35%, and then a cooldown of 15. Now this is a nice boost for your troops. Whether you'd get this off twice in a round is very unlikely. You'd probably do it once, and then your units will get that 35% boost. 35 of them would get that. It's just 35 across the board. Then he has got a passive skill called Intimidation. Blackbeard's threatening presence terrifies his enemies, lowering their attack damage and attack speed stats. Now, this, if it was considerably higher, it would be very preferential. It basically attack reduction is 25%, and then attack speed reduction 25%. So it's only a quarter. It's going to affect an enemy. I think if it was about half, it would probably be a different story. Edward, handy early on. until you start getting units maybe like you'd get a Miller or an Ains, or even the Kelvins. Edward, I kind of want to say that you're in with Chris and Robin Hood, but where you would sit, like you don't have crazy damage. I'm probably gonna put you behind Robin Hood. Now we got 2 left. Now the next one. Whoop, and that moved a little bit. Whoop. Now then, we have got Bull Demon King, Minotaur. So much health this guy has. He is a bit of a tanky boy, just like Chris, and he has 2 abilities. One, which is his headbutt. Physical damage, blasts through the enemy in a straight line, stunning them and dealing a lot of damage. Now the damage he does is 4,500, so a little bit more, and this is max level, a little bit more than like some of the rare guys and some of the other epics. He does lasting damage of count of 6, and damage intervals is 0.2 seconds. 0.2, it's not even a second, it's 0.2. That is super fast. His cooldown maxes out at 11, so every 11 seconds, which is not so bad compared to like the 15s. We're looking at that rush and stunning is quite handy, because some formations really do benefit from stunning at that initial. So if you have a lot of troops that can stun and freeze and things like that, you can hold the enemy in place for a while. Now, next one is a passive skill, increases the defense of all your troops, and this goes all the way up to 30%. I think if this was pushed a bit higher, maybe 40, maybe 50 people would start using it a bit more, because the defense boost really can make a difference in a battle, especially if you're stunning and keeping your defense up. Bull Minotaur King really don't see him a lot in things like Arena or Hero Trials and other. I wouldn't see him there. I've seen him sometimes in Hero Trials, ever so slightly sometimes, but once he does his stun rush, he more or less rushes straight in and troops overwhelm him. So for me, this guy's just ahead of Cheerio, just ahead. Now then, next one. We have, last but by no means least, we have Alum. His name is Alum. Now, Alum, he is a magical boy, and he has got some spells. Now, his active spell is called Elemental Storm, magic damage. He unleashes the power of the elements, releasing the element Storm onto the battlefield. The storm leaves a trail of fire, burning those who remain in its wake. Now, that is quite handy. Area effect damage. Now, this goes up to 5,000 damage. Nice. Lasting damage maxes out at 500. Lasting damage count 5, and then damage intervals every 1 second. The cooldown maxes out at 15. It's really bad, like early on. It's at 20. So, like, based on that information there, of that attack style, I would say that I'd put Alum in B to start with. I'm already feeling that Miller should be up in A, and also Ains A, Moshi B, Alum B. Alum B, yes. Now, Alum has a passive skill. Alum's mastery over the elements fortifies his troops, boosting their health, attack, and defense stats. Now, this maxes out at 15% each. So, health, attack, and defense increased 15%. I don't think that's enough. Realistically, you're looking minimum more 30 to 40%, I'd say, and then you'd see maybe that hero being used a little bit more in these certain circumstances. But with both of those skills, I think without a doubt he is a B. Not as good as Moshi because of the meteor shower that he has, which is really, really quite cool. But overall, this is the epic layout for my hero tier list. We've got Cassandra in F. I even feel actually that I don't even want to put him D. He's so hard to get. Cassandra is the worst. Just mainly because of one reason. He's got to go down to F. Now, these four are Ds. C, without a doubt, Kelvin's. And then we got Moshi and Alum. I'd say it's B. And then we got Ains and Miller in the A's. I don't even think any of these guys deserve to be put into S tier. Miller's probably the only one that might get close. Both of these guys could get close to S, but honestly don't feel that they have enough to take them to that level. Maybe a few extra percentages might, I'd say, push them up into those areas. But overall, that's where I would place the heroes. I'm feeling Alum might push down because of his actual damage, like his magic damage outside of his actual skill being pushed off. Once his skill's done, he's pretty weak, so I'm probably going to drop him down into C actually, because I think Moshi benefits way more from his abilities, and then his normal attacks are quite powerful compared to Alum. Moshi, I believe he's level 10, he does 650, and then I've got Alum at level 6 doing 450, so 250 200 between them. Yeah, I think Moshi's got the edge on him particular. So that is our epic hero tier list. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any suggestions, if you have any comments on where the positions are of these heroes, please drop them down below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you do check out the rare video and the legendary video as well. And I will see you guys in the next one.